Right, this is Brother Will, aka Quiet Storm, and we're here with this is week 45 of our 52-week challenge. I mean, the year is about over. We're about wrapping it up in the last few weeks here. Tonight, what I'm going to talk about is forgiveness, or the power of forgiveness. And I ran across this interesting definition that I wanted to read and just sort of talk about a little bit. All right, it says forgiveness is the intentional and voluntary process by which a victim undergoes a change in feeling and attitude towards an offense. Let go the negative emotions such as being vengeful with an increased ability to wish the offender well. All right. So now it says forgiveness, one is voluntary. You have to choose to forgive. And it's something that the victim actually does. So it's not necessarily that, okay, the person who did you wrong, they have to come and ask for forgiveness. It's your choice if you've ever been victimized or offended. Are you going to forgive? And not only that, are you willing to let go any type of negative emotion, negative thought that had to do anything to do with the offense? Again, this is an intentional and voluntary. And notice the word here, it's a process. So that may mean that, like I put to you like this, sometimes you have to forgive people by faith. And what I mean by that is saying, like, you know what, I forgive them. I forgive them continually until you get through the process to where you work through all of the emotions, you work through all the negativity. Sometimes you may have to talk to them more than once to really finish the forgiveness process, or because sometimes you may not be able to speak with them at all. You may have to confide in someone else or pray or fast or whatever. It may take a process to actually forgive and get rid of all of those negative emotions. And then once you get through the negative emotions, then moving on to the part to where you can actually wish the person who offended you well. I mean, that's really a process. Now, for God, in Jesus, he was like, well, hey, he's saying, I forgive you. Now, but of course, we're not on that level. He has infinite power, infinite wisdom, infinite love, all of that. And all you have to do is come and ask. And he said he'll cast your sins, as far as the east is from the west, and throw your sins in the sea of forgetful. However, us in the flesh, as long as we're living in this flesh, even though we're led by the Spirit, and most times we really can't say that. We have to go through that forgiveness process to where we have to talk some things out. Maybe we have to write it out, write a letter or vent or whatever the process may take. And then move on to the part to where, wow, you really wish that person well. That's one way that you really know that you've forgiven a person, where you can sincerely, from your heart, wish them well, where you wish no harm on them, or, if you see something bad or negative happen to them, that it doesn't, give you a nice little sensation on the inside. That's the power of forgiveness. And we have to realize, at times, forgiveness, it may be necessary even if the offender doesn't acknowledge or know that they've done anything wrong. Perfect example of that is when Jesus was being crucified on the cross. When he was being mocked and spit on and all of this stuff, yet he called out to the Father. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So Jesus was still in the offense, but yet he chose to, not only did he forgive them, he asked his Father to forgive them too. All right. And another thing about forgiveness is you really have to learn how to forgive yourself, which sometimes that can be a process also, because just in life, we're going to make mistakes and we mess up. Sometimes we feel like we mess up so bad that we just can't get it back together. Like, you hear people say, I'll never live this one down. But I want to encourage you tonight to not only forgive others, but also forgive yourself. Just like for Christ's sake, he forgave us. All right? So, like I said, a real brief message video tonight. I just wanted to talk about the power of forgiveness. Again, this is Brother Will, a.k.a. Quiet Storm. This is week 45. God bless you, and I'll see you next week.